Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Angie Willakala here, and I am on the set of my home in my kitchen where we do the Healing Agents interviews. And today I'm going to share my 18-minute talk with you. So, in hopes that you might be inspired by this story of mine, and that maybe you would be inspired that someone in your organization or your tribe or your audience would love to hear this story and how it can bless them in their life and their journey. So without further ado, let me share with you my chat. It's called Healing Agents Coming Together to Help Others Heal. So I'm Dr. Angie Willakala, and I'm here on behalf of healing agents everywhere like yourself. You see, you don't realize the impact you have on someone's life until they impact you. Let me tell you a story of a woman I knew that was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2010, was declared clear for 3 years, and then it came back in 2013. And at the level that they rediscovered this cancer in her body, it was at the level of stage 4. Now, how many of you know someone with stage 4 cancer, right? Many of you have probably lost someone with stage 4 cancer. And cancer is such a loaded word, but wow, I want to just be able to tell you that I know it's a scary place to live. And I know because that person was me. And I have to tell you, it was the grace of God that allows me to still be here today. And it was the hope that kept me fighting for my life. And it was hearing other survivor stories that helped me just keep digging into all the treatments that were available, from integrative, more natural techniques, treatments to support the body, as well as, a little sliver of chemo and a little sliver of radiation. It wasn't everything that I did, but it came to a point where I really needed some extra help because my body was going down fast. So this is what I know. What I know is that when you create a team of champions, a team together, when we come together as health professionals, working together, supporting each other, I know that we're more successful together. And so I love to tell you how we do this. So first of all, working together, right? Have you ever seen this movie called Wild? It won some awards. It's with Reese Witherspoon, and she has gone through a lot. Now, don't watch this movie with your kids because it's some hard life scenes in this movie. But I love the storyline, and Reese Witherspoon. There's a scene in the beginning of the movie before she starts out this 100-mile hike by herself. Right? Crazy, right? Hard. And she's putting all these things in her backpack. And she puts fills up this thing of water and sticks that on, and all these contraptions that campers create, she's stuffing in this backpack. And she literally can't even put the backpack on. She can't even stand up, much less put the thing on. So in that moment, I just realized, wow, I can totally relate to her in this moment, because how many of you right now are walking through something so hard, so challenging, like it's literally you're at your ends with it? Whether it's a health challenge, a health opportunity, whether it's a relationship issue, relationship stress, or even financial stress, right? We've gone through that. And I gotta tell you that when you hit your rock bottom, you know you're there, and really the only way out is up and reaching out for help, right? So let me tell you, when Reese Witherspoon was walking through this journey, she learned that when she had the support of other hikers in this movie, her load was much lighter. And she actually had fun, and she actually enjoyed the trail. And there's another scene in the movie where one of the, veterans of this trail literally repacks her entire backpack And they nicknamed this backpack because it was so huge. It's like the monster or something. But this gentleman repacked her bag, and the load that she was carrying on her back was like 50% less. Now that's a total great example, an amazing example of how when you reach out to the support of others, they carry you along the way. And that's another huge point that I want to bring. We are stronger when we're together, when we're reaching out and helping each other. I got to tell you, when my dear friend and colleague came to my office and told me that the MRI we just found, because I was having all this low back pain and I didn't understand why, and I'm like, I'm a chiropractor, this is what I do for a living. It has to be a disc, right? Well, it wasn't a disc, and they found that I had cancer cells in my spine and different areas of my body, and that was my drop to the floor. I went to my friend's house and we just laid on the floor and cried. Because this was my worst fear. You have cancer once and then you're working through it and you're healed and then this stinker comes back, right? But what I learned is after dusting off myself, what I started to begin creating was what I call a team of champions. And what I've created is an amazing, amazing healing circle of doctors from all spectrums, from all the way from the integrative doctor through the oncologist and surgeons and things like that. And what I found is that I was nothing without my team of champions. See, I needed my chiropractor, my massage therapist, my nutritionist, my integrative doctor, my vitamin C IV doctor. Everything that created this healing circle is huge. So that brings me to the 6 components of what I needed. The team of champions. There's an inside 3 and an outside 3. And the inside 3 is simple. Number 1 is God in your faith, whatever it might be. You need to have some power bigger than you, know that He's in charge or she's in charge of your life, right? Whatever your faith is. But I know that God is a great physician in my life, and He knows exactly how many days I'm here on this earth, so I don't need to stress out and worry. And the timing in which everything happened was huge for my story. The second thing is your positive thinking. You see, I did not employ doctors that were not on board with my belief that with stage 4 cancer and all the things that were happening in my body, I had a knowing, and I know that God was going to heal me. And if the doctor didn't share that belief or support, we weren't playing together. The third thing is nutrition. Of course, it was insane. I had bins and bins of nutrition that I was putting in my body alongside all these treatments, because you got to love on the body and help it heal, right? The fourth thing is the outside 3. So you've got the inside 3, which is your job, and then the outside 3. And the outside 3, number 1, is your integrative doctor. And that's where we as chiropractors, that's where we live. That's where we hang out. And I could not have processed all the different treatments and things happening to my body without my chiropractor. You see, friends, it wasn't until my body broke down. The cancer was in my lungs. My lungs were full of fluid. My L5 fractured to where I was in so much pain. I was in a wheelchair for 2.5 months. And then one day, the fluid built up around my lungs. I thought it was my lungs, but I went into the ER and the doctors realized the fluid wasn't around my lungs. It was around my heart. And that was, I can't tell you, I went from the hallway of the ER in a matter of minutes to my own private room with electrical things all over me. And within 60 minutes, I was in the cath lab with a needle in my heart, awake. But I had this peace that surpassed all understanding. I can't explain it. I just told my best friends that were with me and my husband to just pray and send out, there was no time to prepare. I was like, here we go. and they pulled out a liter of fluid around my heart. And this is where we need everyone coming together to help others heal. I mean, God has a huge part in my story, because this fluid that was around my heart, the doctors expected it to come back. It always comes back, people. But this time, for me, it didn't. And I felt that. And I know that the Lord was right there on my side, and I saw a picture. I saw him, And to this day, a year and a half later, the fluid is still not back around my heart. They were preparing a heart surgery where they create a little hole in the heart wall so that the fluid would drain. And it was crazy. It was a crazy, crazy ride. And that's where I had to surrender. I had to literally surrender. I couldn't control. If I thought about all the things that I walked through, your brain can't even comprehend what happened. So you have to be in a place of surrender to be successful in this journey of cancer. So this is what I've learned. The integrative doctors play a huge part in that. Your medical doctors, your medical treatment, you need them. They need to be part of your team. You can't be just all one-sided. And finally, your support team. You need to have your people, your friends, your family members. You need to be able to reach out for help to get there. I'm so blessed, because after that time in the cath lab, I didn't want chemo. I did not want chemo. I'm a chiropractor. We don't do this, right? But it got to the point where my body was just not chemo, but cancer was in fluid throughout my whole body. And 2.5 months later, after that heart thing, I'd done a scan, and my scan showed up completely clear. So who does that, people? God does that. And a team of champions, a team of amazing doctors that are open to working together and not being so ignorant and shutting each other out. So this is what I've learned, is we need to have a team of people together to help others heal. So what I've created is a network called Healing Agents International. You can find all these details at healingagents.org. And I create videos like this to help support and get information, because for me, walking through this journey, it was like this underground railroad. I was like searching for all these treatments, from low dose chemo to GMAF to ozone to hyperbaric chamber treatments to I've done it all. And I think what was so successful for me was that we did do a lot. And we kept going, and we kept going, and we kept being led by the Lord and showing where the next step was. And I want to be able to create a place where all these options are open, so people can come and get what are the choices. Because I think right now we don't have a lot of choices. We're given drugs, chemo, surgery. That's the medical slice of pie, but we're not given the integrative piece, the moral support piece, the positive thinking piece, the God piece, whatever. The full circle healing is what I'm all about bringing to the table. So we are stronger when we are working together, when we're reaching out for help, and finally when we're successful together, when we can do this full circle healing. Another story, a friend of mine was 16 years old, and he did this full circle healing. His mom was a good friend of mine, and he was 16 years old, and he had a seizure and had 2 brain tumors in his head. One was operable, one was not. So this young kid went through a lot, but he did all the pieces of the pie. He did surgery, he did chemo, but his mom brought him salmon and kale and nutrition to the Children's Hospital here in LA. His mom made sure that there was a meditation music going on at all times, keeping his thoughts, keeping his mind focused that he was going to kick cancer's butt and knock it out. And she did all the other treatments too to help the body be alkaline, and all these things came together. And I'm happy to tell you that this gentleman is now 3 years cancer-free. from 2 brain tumors, and 1 was inoperable. So this system, this approach, I think is something awesome. And my heart is really about coming together to help others heal, because there's not a day, a week that goes by that I don't hear of someone else being diagnosed with cancer. And it just brings me right back to my day, to my rock bottom, to where I was. And my husband asks me all the time, can you just relax? Can you just kind of like retire? But this is it, friends. The amount of suffering that I walk through, if I can help someone else's suffering just go down a little bit, then for me it will make what I went through worth it. It will make what I went through worth every painstaking day where I didn't know what was going to happen. So, my friends, if you know someone with cancer, if you have friends or family members, please send them to healingagents.org and let me help. I would love to help them. And I pray that you would join me in this movement, because I have a vision. I have a dream of changing how cancer is treated in this country, and I have a dream of turning the cancer word from being a death sentence to changing it and reversing it with all the team approach. You see, I know that together we can fight this thing, and we're not going to run out of patients. You know what might just happen is we might just help heal more patients, and we might just help more people not lose their life to cancer. So join me on this movement, healingagents.org, coming together to help others heal. Thank you so much for letting me share, and God bless.